Hi everyone. I know you might have been expecting Becky this morning. In this new world of doing live yoga, we had to make a quick change. Becky's still working with her technology and getting all of that up to speed, so I'm going to be leading you in an hour-long live practice from my living room. I had been in my basement, but I don't think the connection was good. I was getting some glitchiness, so hopefully this will be better. And I wanted to let you know that I do have props with me today. I have a bolster and blocks and a blanket. Of course, you don't need anything to practice yoga. You don't even need a mat. It's nice to have, but it's not necessary. So if you don't have blocks, you can look for kind of a thick paperback. Of course, you don't want to stack slippery books too high. We want to be safe. And regular old pillows can serve as a bolster. Any old blanket works. You can use a belt from a robe for a yoga strap. We are going to get started. So I'm going to move back. And since this is a gentle class, I always like to start on my back. Well, I like to start on my back anyway. That's a good place for me to center. But with a gentle class, I invite you to maybe spread a blanket out over your mat so you have a little extra cushioning and a little extra warmth. And when you do this, make sure you flatten all the wrinkles so that you're not laying on a wrinkle, because that'll start to drive you crazy after a little bit. So once you have your blanket laid out, you can come down onto your back, soles of your feet on the ground. I hope you can see me. Knees facing the sky. If you'd like to take constructive rest, you can walk your feet out wide and let your knees drop towards one another, touching in the center. And then you can bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, and let your shoulders relax down into the ground. Let your head be heavy. And start to cultivate some deep breaths. As you fill up, see if you can notice your heart beating under your hand. See if you can feel the rise of your abdomen and diaphragm. And as you exhale, feel the fall of the abdomen and diaphragm. And allow each exhalation to be an opportunity to soften a little bit more. As we come into this space, we'll work on breathing and moving, and on honoring and respecting what our bodies need today. If I suggest something that doesn't make sense, really tap into what you need and make it work for you. Let's draw a deep breath in together, and then full exhale through the mouth, sigh it out. Do that again, big breath in, and then take an open mouth sigh. Start drawing your knees in towards your chest. You can take your hands to your knees or your shins and take some circles here. Go in one direction, in the other direction. Massage your low back. And we'll start with an easy figure 4. So drop the left foot down, left sole of the foot down, cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And if you want to intensify, of course, you can draw your left knee in towards you, interlacing your fingers behind your left thigh. You can also place your left foot on a block or a book, or you can leave your left foot planted. Keep your tailbone in contact with the mat and soften your shoulders every time you exhale. Let's float the left foot down. Leave your legs in that figure 4 shape and scoot your hips over to the right a little bit. We're going to drop both legs to the left, letting the sole of the right foot come down to the earth and letting the left knee come down to the earth. And then you can make cactus arms, letting your right shoulder melt. Bring your knees back to neutral. Place both hips firmly on the ground. Keeping your left foot on the ground, send the right leg up high, and you can interlace your fingers behind your thigh or maybe your calf. Keeping a soft bend in the knees, start to draw your toes in towards you a bit. While encouraging a soft lengthening through the back of the leg. You can flex your foot, sending your right heel up. And then drop the right foot down. Step the feet out nice and wide and let your knees rock from side to side. And then we'll take this the other way, planting the right foot down, right knee faces the sky, cross the left ankle over, find your figure 4 shape, and then decide if you'd like to intensify by pulling the right knee in, or if you'd like to leave the right foot planted. We're encouraging sensation through the outer outer left hip, although of course you'll feel it in various places. So you can always increase sensation by pulling the knee in closer and decrease by dropping the foot closer to the ground. Start to float the right foot back down to the ground, release the bind, and then scoot your hips slightly over to the left. Drop both legs over to the right side of the room this time. The right knee will come down and the left knee will stay facing the ceiling, and you can come to cactus arms or T arms. Draw everything back in through center. Lay out the right foot. This time we're going to send the left leg high to the sky, interlacing your fingers behind your calf or your quad, your thigh. You can flex your foot. And then float the left foot back down to the earth. We're going to take a big full body stretch. So send the legs out long in one direction, fingertips up and over your head, getting as tall as you can. Circle through the ankles. Point and flex your feet. Wiggle the toes. And then draw your knees in towards you. Slide your hands behind your thighs and take a rock and roll up to a seated position. We're going to cross our ankles here. Welcome to those of you who are just joining us. Becky's fine. I know she was supposed to be here today. She's still working out her technology on her end, but you'll see her soon. So sitting up tall, take your shoulders and roll them a few times. Up and back away from your ears. Go the other way. And then come to stillness. You do have your blanket, so if you're finding it difficult to keep your spine elongated, you can take your blanket and fold it up. And as I said before, any old blanket will do. Doesn't have to be the special yoga blanket. And sit right on the edge of it so that your knees maybe come down a little lower than your hips. That'll encourage length in your spine. As you inhale, reach for the sky, interlace your fingers over your head, flip your palms, get tall through the side body. Exhale, we're going to crescent to the left, find some length through the right side body. Inhale through center, go in the other direction. Try to keep both hips planted. And then let's do it one more time on each side. Come back to neutral. Let's find a little back bend here. Lift your chin, broaden your collarbone, look up, and then come back to neutral and float your arms down. Take a few more of those shoulder rolls. And then if it's comfortable for you to switch the cross of your legs, go ahead and switch the cross of your legs. We're going to take a little twist. So as you inhale, reach up, and as you exhale, twist over to your left side. You're going to take the right arm across, left hand behind you. With each inhalation, lengthen your spine. With each exhalation, maybe you're twisting a little tiny bit more, and you can even send your gaze over your back shoulder. Next time you inhale, come back through center, reach up high. Next time you exhale, left hand comes across, right hand comes behind. Start to rotate your chest open. And then back to neutral. Take the wrists. We're going to roll the wrists out a little bit, wiggle the fingers, open and close the hands. And we're going to make our way to table pose. So with the blanket, if you'd like to cushion your knees, you can certainly bring the blanket under your knees. And then we're going to stack joints here. So bringing your knees right under your hips and your shoulders right over your wrists. Spread your fingers wide. We'll take a few cow-cats. As you inhale, drop the belly down, lift the chin a little bit. And as you exhale, round the spine, drop the crown of the head and look behind you. Cat pose. Inhale, find your cow. Exhale to cat. Go ahead and take this with your breath. So everybody's going to be at a slightly different pace. And then after your last round, we're going to walk our toes together, bring knees out nice and wide for child's pose, sending your hips to your heels, Bringing your forehead to the mat, walk your arms out in front of you and breathe. From child's pose, option to take a little twist, keeping your hips low. You can send your left hand under your body, palm up, coming to rest on your left shoulder and your left temple. Switching sides. Unwind and make your way back up to table pose. Once you find your table pose, you're going to take the right foot and step it back, coming onto the ball of the right foot, and then push back through the right heel and sway back and forth here. See if you can feel some sensation in your calf, in your hamstrings, and your toes. And if it feels good to pause along the way, you can do that. Stay in the stretch. When you're ready to switch sides, you'll bring the right knee back down and send the left toes back. Same thing here. And then bringing both knees back down to the earth. Working on a little rotation through the wrist. We're going to take the fingertips and point them out in opposite directions. So the inside of each wrist they're facing each other. The inside parts of the wrists are facing each other. Of course, if this hurts, just come back to having your fingertips facing the top of the mat. If you can rotate so the fingertips are facing the sides of the mat, go ahead and do that. And then for more sensation, you can rotate so that your fingers are facing in towards your body. If you want even a little bit more sensation through the wrists, you can shift your hips back just slightly here, just a little bit. And then rotate the fingers back around so they're facing the top of the mat. And we'll come to hero's pose. Sitting down onto your heels. If you have a block or want to use a blanket or a book, you can bring that under your hips for a little extra support. And then find stillness here, roll the shoulders around a little bit. We're going to take the left arm up high, bend the elbow, reach for the center of the back, and then take your opposite hand and press on the elbow a little bit. Finding some length through the back of your arm. See if you can walk the fingertips down the back a little bit more, the left fingertips down the back a little bit more. And then release it and take the left hand across your body. Hook the right elbow around your wrist and open up through your shoulder. And then let that bind go. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Reaching the right arm up high, 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 and then bend the elbow. Give yourself a little assist and start walking your right fingertips down towards the center of your back. And go ahead and release that. And take your arm across your chest, pressing into your wrist a little bit. And then release that and take your hands to your shoulders, big circles with your elbows, like you're painting giant zeros on the walls with your elbows. Go several times one way, and then we'll rotate through the joint in the other direction. Always good to get the joints moving. Okay, we're going to come back up onto hands and knees, and I'm going to grab blocks. We're going to do some lunging, so you might want to have some sort of prop or prop alternative with you. So we're going to take the blocks to the top of the mat and step the right foot forward. So bringing the right foot between the blocks. And then tuck the left toe and slide the left knee back so you're not crushing the left kneecap. Make sure the front knee is resting over the front ankle. And you can take the blocks higher or the books higher. And sink into that back hip flexor. You can always use padding under the back knee if that feels better. Always coming back to the breath. We'll take this into half splits. So start walking your hands or your blocks back, straightening your right knee. Come onto the heel of the right foot. And then think about extending your torso over your extended leg and folding a little bit. You don't have to fold very far at all to feel the sensation. You might be up a little higher or a little lower. Each time you inhale, think about growing your spine a little bit longer. And each time you exhale, maybe you can fold a tiny bit more. And then replace the foot on the mat. We're going to come back to hands and knees so you can put your props off to the side. And once you come back to hands and knees, we're going to take some organic movement. So circling the hips around, maybe bringing the shoulders up over the hands, maybe dropping the crown of the head down. This is a moment for you to tap in and see what your body needs, see what movement feels appropriate. And come back to stillness, and we'll take that lunge on the other side. So this time you'll step the left foot forward to the top of the mat, and then stack your left knee over your left ankle, tuck your back toe, and walk your right knee back. So you don't want to be right on the kneecap. You don't want to be crushing the kneecap. You can use your blocks here and slide into your right hip flexor this time. Half splits, start to straighten the front knee, walk your hands back, come onto the heel of the left foot, and extend your torso over your left leg. Replace the foot on the mat, move the props out of the way. Coming back onto hands and knees, take your movement, your organic movement again. Any movement that feels appropriate, maybe some cat-cows. And then come to stillness on hands and knees. We're going to come to down dog. So from here, tuck your toes and start lifting your hips up high. Find your downward facing dog. You can pedal your feet out here. Bend one knee as you press the opposite heel to the earth. Sway the hips a bit, shake the head out. And then come to stillness here. Drop the heels down in the direction of the mat. Lift your hips high. Really engage through your palms. Hanging here for a few breaths. Enjoying your inversion. And then we'll start to tiptoe our feet to the top of the mat. We're going to come into a forward fold. So you can step out a little wider than the hips here if you'd like to. Grab opposite elbows and opposite hands for ragdoll and let the crown of your head drop. You can also bend your knees as much as you'd like to here. Looking for length through the entire back body. Drop your hands to the mat, walk your feet right under your hips. We're going to come all the way up to standing. So take a bend into the knees, start sweeping up high to the sky, bring your palms together over your head, and then exhale to bring your hands to your heart for mountain pose. Oh, you can't see my head. I'm going to try to fix that. We're learning. So finding your mountain pose here. We're going to find some sun breaths. So as you inhale, reach up high to the sky. As you exhale, forward fold, soft knees, drop your head. Inhale, lengthen halfway, bring hands to shins, long spine. Exhale to fold. Do that again. Big breath in to rise. Big breath out to fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Exhale to fold. Let's do it one more time. Big breath in to rise. Empty to fold. Lengthen halfway. And fold. We're going to stay right here in our forward fold and step just the left foot back. We're going to come to warrior one feet and rise up to warrior one. So pressing into both feet equally, you can rotate your hips towards the top of the mat and reach up with soft shoulders. Find stillness here. Focus your gaze. Feel both feet grounding into the earth. Bring your palms together right at your heart center. Start to look to the top of the mat, and we're going to step forward for tree pose. So you can bring your left heel to your right ankle, or you can bring your foot up higher, avoiding your knee. You don't want to press the foot into the knee. And then allow yourself to wobble. Allow yourself to fall. If you'd like to make branches, you can make branches. Bringing your hands back towards your chest. Let's bring the left knee in. We're going to come to warrior two. So one way to do this is to take a big step back and see if you can find your warrior 2 feet. But arrive however you need. Again, pressing into both feet firmly, rooting down. Bring your torso over the center of your body. And gaze over your front fingertips. Flip just your front palm, come to peaceful warrior, reach up and back. And then as you exhale, come to warrior two. Do that again, peaceful warrior, warrior two. Let's do that one more time, peaceful warrior, warrior two, coming back with control. Start to straighten your right knee. We're going to work towards triangle. So left hip will pop out. Drop your right hand and send your left hand to the sky, stacking your joints, shoulder over shoulder, hip over hip. And then come back to neutral. We're going to bring both heels in towards one another, toes out, coming into five-pointed star. As you exhale, come down to goddess, nice and easy, bending the knees. Inhale, straighten, star pose. Exhale, goddess. Let's do that twice more. Star and goddess. Star and goddess. Come back up to your star pose, and then we're going to find warrior two over your left fingertips this time. So we'll reverse that. Press into both feet. Gaze over your left fingertips this time. Flip your front palm, peaceful warrior, reach up and back. Come back to warrior two with control. Let's do that twice more. Peaceful warrior, warrior two. One more time, peaceful warrior, warrior two. Let's start to straighten the left knee, making your way into your extended triangle pose. Pull yourself back up. Find warrior two again. This time we're going to look over the left fingertips, step the back foot in a little bit, and start to rotate your hips towards the top of the mat for warrior one here. Root down. See if you can find stillness as you fix your gaze. Hands come together at the heart. Look to the top of the mat and find your tree pose. Same thing here. You can find a home for your leg. Just be mindful of your knee. And if you have a different arm variation you'd like to use, you can do that. Gather your hands back towards your heart. Bring your right knee back towards your chest. And then step it down. Great. Let's step out a little wider than our hips. Reach up high. And this time forward fold. Let's take a rag doll. If you want to work on a shoulder stretch, you can interlace your fingers behind your back and start to draw your fist up and away from your back. You can also take gorilla or toe hold. And then release your hands down. Bend into your knees a lot. Tuck your chin into your chest and start to roll up one vertebra at a time. We're going to come to standing. And then walk our feet closer together, bringing toes together, heels apart. We're going to take a chair pose. So sitting down back, Shallow bend in the knees if this bothers your knees. As you exhale, come to standing, straighten your knees. Let's do that twice more with control. Inhale, come down, easy chair. Exhale, straighten the knees, hands by your hips. One more time, easy chair, and then come to stand. Shake it out a little bit. We're going to start making our way back down to a seat. So coming back down, you can grab your blanket and set it under your hips if you'd like. Actually, put the blanket off to the side for a moment. I'm going to change the perspective so you can see my legs now. Okay. We're going to work on a pinwheel pigeon. So instead of doing resting half pigeon, we're going to take our right shin forward. I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong leg. It's backwards in the screen. I don't know what you're seeing. But take your right shin forward and take your left heel back by your left hip. So kind of like a mermaid position or a pinwheel. And then I like to use a block here, bringing it in front of my right shin. And you can step your feet out legs out as wide as you'd like, or you can bring them in closer. And you're going to rotate your torso over your right leg. And then with a long spine, go ahead and fold. You can bring a block under your forehead or a blanket or nothing. Finding your forward fold. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Starting to come up onto your palms. Swing both legs out in front of you. Bring the soles of the feet out in front of you. And then rock your knees from one side to the other side. And then we'll take that pinwheel shape on the opposite side. So figure out how far apart you'd like your legs. And then we're going to switch to rotate the torso over the left leg this time. Find your forward fold. Start making your way back up onto your palms. Swing your legs out in front of you again. Leaning back on your hands this time, see if you can point your fingertips towards your body, paddle your feet a little bit. And we're going to come into a tabletop shape. So reverse table. I'll turn to the side so you can see. Lifting your hips high. Press your palms into the earth. Press your feet into the earth. And keep control of your neck. And then we'll slowly start to lower down. Before you touch your hips down to the ground, come up again. Find another tabletop position. And then lower down slowly. Come all the way down. Step the feet out wide. Let the knees rock. And then we're going to take a cobbler's pose. So bringing the soles of your feet together. Everybody's going to be different here. Some people are going to be able to pull the heels in a lot. You might want a wider diamond shape with your legs. But our first fold that we're going to do, we're going to keep our spine straight. So you're welcome to bring some props under your knees, whatever your props look like at home today. And then take a deep breath in, sit up tall. As you exhale, start to hinge at the hips. Keep the spine long and straight. The minute your spine starts to curve, stop. Bring your awareness to the places in your body where you're feeling sensation. Maybe as we hold this, you can hinge even a little bit forward, even a little bit more. And then start to come up out of this. You can use your hands to pull your knees back together, lean back, take some movement. And then I'd like to try the yin version of this pose. So rather than Baddha Konasana, we're going to do the yin version, which is butterfly. So for butterfly, you're going to take a wider diamond shape with your legs. You can use your rolled up blanket or your pillows or your bolster, whatever you have. Maybe even a book or a block. And then we're going to round the spine this time. So sort of the opposite of what we did before. Rather than keeping the spine straight, we're going to come into a little C curve. So tuck your chin, round your spine. And for a lot of us, our head will just hang here, and that's totally fine. Maybe you can come down a little lower and bring your forehead onto the block or even onto the bolster. So find your butterfly and breathe into the areas where you're feeling sensation. Start to slowly roll up. Remove any props you have in your way. One more time, we'll tick-tock the knees from side to side. And then we're going to extend just the right leg long and bring the left foot to the inner thigh. If you happen to have half lotus in your practice, you can take the knife edge of your left foot and tuck it into your right hip crease. If that's not accessible, that's fine. Sometimes I know people can take half lotus and the knee will be up, and that's fine too. You can just place a block under there. So flexing through the right foot, rotate your torso over your right leg and reach up high. As you exhale, fold. We're going to come right back up. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, hinge to reach towards the foot. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to reach up. And this time we're going to stay in this folded position. Maybe you can reach your foot. Maybe it's your ankle or your shin. Whatever it is, find your forward fold. Start to come back to a neutral spine and unhook the half lotus if you have it. Take the right hand across, touch your left knee, bring your left hand behind you and open your heart. And you can stay right here, or if you'd like to take this into stargazer pose, plant your left hand by your left hip and come up onto your left shin. Reach your right arm up and over your head. And then start to lower back down slowly. All right, we'll switch sides. So again, half lotus, if that's an option for you, you're welcome to take that. Otherwise, sort of like a tree leg. Rotate over your extended leg, reach up on the inhalation, and as you exhale, long spine, reach and fold. Inhale to come up, exhale to reach. Twice more, inhale to come up, exhale to fold. One more time, coming all the way up. This time we're going to fold and hold it. Start to bring your shoulders back up over your hips and take your counter stretch. Looking over your right shoulder this time. If you want to take this into stargazer, plant your right palm and lift up onto your right shin. Lower back down. Bring your legs out in front of you. Tick-tock them from side to side one more time. And then we're going to take boat pose, but we're going to park our boat. So plant your feet in front of you and then reach out long. I guess we're docking our boat rather than parking it. We're docking it. So go ahead and lean back. See if you can find some engagement through the abdominal muscles. And then you can leave your feet down. Maybe you want to come up onto your heels. And hold here where you feel the sensation. Make sure you're breathing. And then come up to a neutral spine, reach your arms up and over your head. Let's do that one more time. Come back, keep your boat docked, don't lift your toes. Come back to neutral spine, reach your arms up and over. This time we're going to roll all the way down onto our back. So come all the way down onto your back. Pull your knees in towards you. Start taking circles just like we did at the beginning. If we did that at the beginning. The days are blending into one another a little bit. I'm sure you can relate. And then we're going to take a nice, easy, supported back bend. So if you have a more active back bend you like, you certainly can do that. I'm going to suggest supported bridge. So if you don't have a block, you can use, fold up a blanket, kind of small, and you can pop that right under your sacrum, or you can even leave your hips on the ground and press your feet down and away from you like you're trying to pull the mat out from under you with your feet. If you have a block and you want to place it under, you can do that. And then bring your hands right down by your hips, palms down. Maybe you tuck your shoulder blades in just a little bit, lift the heart, lift the chin. And come back to those full breaths, completely filling up the chest cavity, expanding into the diaphragm, maybe finding a little pause there. And then as you exhale, emptying completely as much as you can and finding a little pause at the base of the exhalation. You can stay here in supported bridge, or you can take waterfall pose, legs up the wall, sending your legs up. keeping your tailbone either on the block or on the blanket or on the ground. So it's not shoulder stand, it's a more restorative version. And you can even imagine that there's a wall that you're resting your heels on. And soften your knees and your ankles and your toes. Let your chest and torso be supported by the earth. Start to bend your knees. Slowly float your feet back down to your mat. Move your block out from under you. Maybe patter your feet a little bit to bring some blood back down. And then let your knees dip from side to side. Pull your knees in tight, and we'll dip both knees over to the left. Coming into a supine twist, you can extend your right arm. Let your right shoulder melt down. You can always bring a prop under your knees if you need a little bit of support there. And then we'll go the other way. So roll onto your back. Maybe scoot your hips over to the left a little bit as you dip your knees over to the right. And then one more time back to a neutral spine. Pull your knees in again. Take circles here. Maybe you like happy baby. You can take happy baby. We are going to start setting up for our final rest, our most important pose, of course. So when you feel ready, you have lots of options. You can come down onto your back. You can bring a blanket or a pillow or a bolster under your knees or under your head. You can also even come to seedling pose, tucking your knees into your chest and curling up on one side, fetal position. So it's just really important that after our practice, we take some time for stillness to absorb all the benefits. So as you settle in, begin to take a scan of your body. Let go of any gripping that you're doing. Give yourself permission to completely and totally relax. Please stay right here as long as you'd like. And when you feel refreshed and ready to get back up, do so gently and with kindness towards yourself and with gratitude for your practice.